So amazing news and wonderful, wonderful news. So for those that they talk, say, oh, precious, every time news from Nigeria, they break your heart. You know, they good at all. Precious, it always bring us bad news. Well, I am here with an amazing news today, and it gladdened my heart a lot. Say, okay, so something is really happening in our country. So you remember Sunday Jackson, right? Yes. Sunday Jackson, the farmer from Adamawa State, where it be say the US talk say then give as part of the condition we US give for Trump not to come into our country, guns are blazing and all that. Part of the condition I say make sure say they release one Sunday Jackson. Show them ways where they will use this arm Fulani terrorists. Fulani terrorists. Show practical ways where they will use this Fulani terrorists. So may they show them those examples as waiting if they say then go likely do. And then may they also make sure say, then try to calm things down. So there were a couple of conditions that were that was given by the United States. I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted because I'm trying to put things together. The good news we say, well, the Nigerian government don't begin implement some of these things one by one. Even though say it look like say a day somehow, but the things that not they happen one by one. First of all, the Nigerian government don't tell the NSA give a marching order to make sure say he do away with some of these terrorists. And in fact, the government don't start by proscribing the Fulani Herdsmen, the Fulani militia, the militia group, those also they carry gun as terrorists. I mean, people think say, or they talk say this now is step in the right direction. But just when we thought that, oh, that was just all, no, the Nigerian government also don't take bolder steps. This time around, they don't go ahead to release Sunday Jackson. Now, one of the ones who will feel say it could be very difficult, and the one way US they talk say, oh, they must end Sharia law for Nigeria and other people they talk say, excuse me, Nigerian government, how on I want you achieve this on way be say on I go end Sharia law. A couple of congressmen for inside the US Senate make a case for Sunday Jackson. They talk a lot because not only Sunday Jackson, they also talked, I remember that one of them also cited Nnamdi Kanu's case as a case of an unfair and unjust treatment as it get to do with things that happen for inside Nigeria. But the good news right now, we say, well, the Nigerian government don't begin do things right because through the Adamawa state governor, will be very close ally of Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, and Tinubu Padiman, by the way. The governor of Adamawa state, Gov't Fintiri, don't announce a state pardon for Sunday Jackson, that farmer who killed a Fulani herdsman who attacked him in his farm. So he killed this herdsman, because of self-defense. Because person stab you stab him back, somehow the person can't die. They can't tell you say, hey, you don't kill person. Because of that, you will face the consequences of killing someone. But the US cited this as one of the cases where say they're very, very, bad and against religious freedom for inside Nigeria. And interestingly, they don't look and say, no, this one no go happen. And I will play you footages of places where the United States talk that. But before we get to that, make I just give you the headline. Fintiri pardons man sentenced to death for killing herdsman in self-defense and others. A petrol tanker crashes into Akpabio's convoy, kills police dispatch rider. And then Wike offered to hold PDP down for Tinubu till 2027 as Sheyi Makinde releases very dirty secrets of Wike. Hey, say they'll be friends before. I should be wearing friends too. INEC rejects Siraki-led PDP's National Working Committee over court judgment on resolved legal disputes. NBA asked Tinubu to suspend implementation of tax laws amid corruption allegations. So I got Tinubu NBA. Say I got Tinubu hold that tax law first. That January 1 at the talk, hold on first until all this while away they around themselves. Yobe Benue top list of internally displaced persons. NHRC dashboard shows so. And then Benue 5 killed as suspected herdsmen. Again, herdsmen. These militias, the way they don't call them terrorists now, attack Otese block major road. And 2027, Jonathan Atiku Obi Kwankwaso should pick one presidential candidate. Ehilebo. Now they talk this one. Government that fails to protect its citizens has no business remaining in office. Kwankwaso, and they blast Tinubu, they give on that shade. Forge Tinubu's tax law is treason against the Nigerian people. Atiku Abubakar, now you don't talk this one. I won't join APC just because others are. Governor Oti shuts down rumors of defection. And then coups are acceptable if they end corruption Rwanda's Paul Kagame, nine they talk this one. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger don't launch Confederal Bank of Sahel to boost economic sovereignty, as also then launch a joint, military force. And then moving on, a retired general detained for 64 days issues Nigerian army sues Nigerian army others for compulsory retirement, seeks over 200 billion naira in damages. Remember Oga Danjuma. Remember Amabi Danjuma Hamisu Ali Kafi. Now in they talk this one. And the Northern Coalition alleges executive coup over alteration of Tinubu's tax laws, calls for investigation. And the Ezekwesili disputes official account says 35 Niger State school abductees still missing. So we are gonna keep the rest of them because on a total number one, I give us on a 280. On I say 50 escape and be on a release 100 before can release 130. So where the rest they out of 351 I say been lost. Oh yeah, show us where the rest they. Terrorist attacks civil defense outpost in Niger State, steel rifle. Yay. Nigerian police inspector found dead in Benue after missing for weeks. Oh, wow. So sad here. And the families of abducted workers plead for help as gunmen demand 500 million naira ransom. Our land is rich, but we are poor. Akwa Ibom Rivers communities lament struggle with oil pollution and poverty. There's a story of how a husband connived the police to remand wife in prison over land disputes. This just shows the complicity of police in some corrupt cases. Nigerian police arrested 2 suspected Black Axe members in Delta, recover arms vehicles in forest raid. 20 crew members escaped death as Nigerian Navy vessel catches fire in Cross River State. We could begin break down this matter them one by follow. Welcome to the show, my people. My name is Precious India, and always gives me great delight to be with you every evening. Make I begin break matter them what it gets to do with the the things that happen for inside our country one by fellow. So let's get straight to this conversation around Sunday Jackson, shall we? So Governor Ahmadu Fintiri of Adamawa State has granted pardon to a death row inmate, Sunday Jackson. Jackson was sentenced to death for killing a herdsman. Now, an Adamawa farmer, Jackson, is widely perceived to have been unjustly sentenced for allegedly killing a herdsman in self-defense. In self-defense. Right. Now, there has been widespread calls for intervention in his case. Jackson, who is in Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center, was pardoned alongside Joseph Eugene from Medium Security Custodial Center and Yola and Maxwell Ibrahim serving at the Medium Security Custodial Center in Kaduna. Now, the pardon is it's in commemoration of the Christmas and New Year celebrations, according to a statement released today, Tuesday, in Yola by Governor Ahmadu Fintiri's Chief Press Secretary, Humwashi Wonosiko. Now, quoting excerpt from that, it says, others who had the remainder of their sentences remitted whole include Joshua James Audu, Adamu Ibrahim, Muhammad Abubakar, Ibrahim Usman, and Saidu Abubakar serving at the Medium Security Custodial Center, Norman and Medium Security Custodial Center, Jada, he stated. Now, he explains that Governor Fintiri extended his gesture to the inmates because the inmates had demonstrated significant improvement in their behavior and conduct. He quoted Fintiri as saying, in the exercise of my prerogative of mercy as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and in line with the recommendations of the Adamawa State Advisory Council on prerogative of mercy, I have granted pardon to 3 persons and directed the remissions of the remainder of the sentences of 5 others who have served various jail terms and have significantly demonstrated good conduct over the years. But this is not the gist. People are saying, wait, just hold on a minute. This whole issue about the release of Sunday Jackson is not just about Sunday Jackson. It's about the pressure by the United States and waiting the United States don't talk recently concerning the case. I mean, you see Congress people talk about the case of Sunday Jackson during that U.S. congressional hearing about the genocide for Nigeria. So they spoke about it very vehemently. Even when they get radio and TV adverts, they also talk about adverts, radio and television. Like when Raymond was on TV, he talked about it on TV. And they made it clear that one of the conditions within they give Nigerian government, one, at the release of Sunday Jackson. The other one, disarm armed Fulani militias. We don't know how I want to do them. Come on, gun for their hand. It's interesting that while the American government, they expect us to disarm them, we they see herdsmen, they operate as vigilante with gun given to them from the Office of the National Security Advisor. So you see why some people were worried over that incident. We'll make a play a few of the short footages when EBC, some congressmen them mentioned the issue of Sunday Jackson, just to put a perspective to the conversation. And we
urge the Nigerian government to take a look at pardoning Sunday Jackson, who is an individual who was fighting for his own life, defending his life against one of these Fulani militants. That Fulani militant lost his life in that struggle, and now that person, Sunday Jackson, is facing the death penalty. Now, where's the justice in that? Where is the justice in that? And all these Fulani militants are breaking the law. They are breaking Nigerian law. And so this Sunday Jackson disarms this person with a knife, protects his own life. He's going to prison and now faces the death penalty. And Fulani militants just roaming bands of them with AK-47s, and that's no problem. You are so right about this question of prioritization. I know I'm over time, Mr. Chairman, but I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so you hear Congressman talk about this and that. The Fulani herdsmen, actually, they go against the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by being armed by AK-47. How did they get this gun then? Who they give them the gun? So somebody comes to your farm, use gun, almost won't kill you. You collect gun from your hand or collect knife from your hand, kill them back. And they tell you, say, they sentenced to death for murder, for killing somebody. And even when the thing reached the extent of Supreme Court, knowing the antecedent of people who don't go their farms, no return because of the activities of these same people, and the Supreme Court still affirmed the case. And now, so you see, in fact, some people just they praise God. They talk, say it's only a fool that will say there is no God. Because what are you talking about here? This Sunday Jackson is just a poor farmer. We don't know anybody at all at all. The way in God is answering in prayer, whatever chi way in the praise, whatever God way in the worship, whether not the God of the ancestors, or not the God of the mama and papa, or not the God of anywhere, the way the God is answering in prayer is very miraculous. Because now only God knows why civil society organizations, some pro bono lawyers and all that carry a matter for head, so they matter reach US Congress. He would have as well been gone, or at least he go there on death row for a long time, many years till he from there die. But now God, now save him, will die alive today. Now here's someone else also mentioned that I think this Congressman James also mentioning it again when he also mentioned the
Psalms 96:14 asks, "Who will rise up for me against the wicked? Who will take a stand for me against evildoers?" Nigeria is facing one of the gravest religious freedom crises in the world. As the former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Africa, I have visited and have seen firsthand the direness of the conditions in what is now the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian. They are targeted, displaced, and killed simply for their faith. The ancient plea, "Is there no help for the widow's son?" still echoes today. Since 2019, nearly 17,000 Christians have been killed. In the first 7 months of this year alone, hundreds more were murdered. On June 13th, during the Yellowater massacre, more than 280 Christians were slaughtered in a single day. These are not isolated tragedies, but a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence, often ignored or even enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram, Fulani militants, and ISIS West Africa attack often without any meaningful intervention from authorities. The lack of response has created an atmosphere of impunity where Christians continue to live in constant threat and fear. The United States has previously recognized this crisis. President Trump not only designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern during his first term, but redesignated it again in his second term after President Biden inexplicably removed that designation. Religious persecution is tied to political repression and weakening institutions in Nigeria. Example, the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself.
All right, so let's just go straight
Nigeria
into
has signaled-
another place. So I think US Congressman Riley Moore also spoke about this on Fox News when the BC Evening Day for inside interview with them. Make we listen to
Virginia Republican Congressman Riley Moore is back with me now. He has been following the situation. We've talked to him many times. Congressman Moore, my heart is broken as a mother. I woke up yesterday and I saw 52 girls taken from a Catholic school. That number is now in the hundreds. We have pictures of the dormitory at a separate school where girls were taken that we'll put up on the screen. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Kaylee, I mean, this is just, as a father, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And I'm just so sick and tired of, frankly, doing interviews like this where I have to talk about more kids getting kidnapped, more Christians being murdered. And it's just, it makes your stomach turn. It just does. And what I can tell you right now is no one has laid claim to this abduction, which makes me believe that this was Fulani militants again, striking this school, St. Mary's. So that's who I believe has done this again. That's who I believe attacked that Catholic church also earlier this week where people were abducted and killed. And this is why at that hearing where you just played at the outset that we had with the administration, which I was part of that hearing, one of the things I am calling for is for the government to disarm the Fulani militants in the middle belt of the country. It's illegal to own firearms in Nigeria, but somehow these nomadic tribesmen can just lay waste and murder all over the country against Christians, and nobody does anything. But you have this individual, Sunday Jackson, who's a Christian farmer who defended himself against an Islamic radical Fulani militant. He's facing the death penalty right now. Where's the justice in that? And that's one of the things I think the Nigerian government can do is to restore credibility in their government and their justice system is to free Sunday Jackson.
Congressman Moore, I want to play some remarks you made 2 weeks ago on this program. You had a word of caution, perhaps, I would say, to the Nigerian government with whom you met some representatives this week. Here's what you said 2 weeks ago.
I'm asking Nigeria, do the right thing here. Partner with the United States. Help us protect the Christians in your country, and we will help you. This doesn't have to be all sticks. It can also be carrots here. Or we do have these kinetic military options on the table, which the president has made very clear he will consider.
You met with the Nigerian delegation this week. Have those kinetic threats moved them at all?
Kaylee, actually, I will say that the meeting was productive. It was frank, very honest with them, and it does sound like they are open to partnering with the United States to stop these killings. They met with myself and the administration as well, including Secretary Pete Hegseth. And so I think we did make some progress in getting them to a place to partner with us to stop these killings. But there's a lot of things that they can do, and I think one of these first steps is releasing Sunday Jackson. I think another one is coming up, working with us for a plan to disarm these militants in the middle belt of the country, the Fulani Islamic radicals that are there. But we did make progress in that conversation.
I do want to also pull up some words that stuck out to me. This is in the New York Times. And this was about the earlier attack. It's sad that you have to differentiate. There were 2 schoolgirl attacks this week. Well, this was the earlier one. The gunman stormed the school for more than 20 minutes, apparently without any intervention from security forces. There is a security checkpoint not far from the school. And the Nigerian police force says, look, we were there.
All right, so I mean, talking about how they use the checkpoints we did and how the troops and use the order to leave that place and all that before the attack. But you can see the emotions that you see the president, I mean, they show to, you know, the plight of the things that would happen for inside Nigeria. And you hear clearly the things so you be saying mentioned there, saying one of the things that would do, releasing Sunday Jackson, ensuring that they disarm Fulani militants and militias, practical steps on how they would disarm them. Else, the kinetic action will be say, Trump, they talk about Gov't happen. And perhaps this is just a way of Nigerian government avoiding the United States with that kinetic action. Because you remember his guns are blazing statement. We make a lot of people, they talk, say, no, Nigeria is a sovereign state and all that. But all of those shout of sovereign states don't even mean anything to Oga Trump. You need a yawn at all. Waiting he won't do, now waiting he won't do. Especially because he gets a lot of commendation and people with push support for him. think, say what they do, they good, because say Christians, they suffer well for inside Nigeria. So this step now, people feel say, now actually the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu buying to pressure, but without making it look like saying that him they bow to pressure. Remember that this case is very dicey, because people will insist say he must they in prison, he must face the death penalty. Go they very offended if the president just give a directive, made them release him like that. You remember what Barrister Manke Tenan Adubabari said the other time, that some lawyers, professors of law from Sharia extraction of the law, been talk say they've been threatening to leave the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, if they not allow them defend those young men we kill Deborah for Sokoto State, we kill stone her to death as a result of blasphemy. Remember what he said then. So that is to say that there is also a likelihood that the lawyers who defended and won this case against Sunday Jackson to make sure that Sunday Jackson is sentenced to death will not be happy with President Tinubu if he just gives an immediate directive rather, following Trump's request that Sunday Jackson be released. So what else could he have done? He had to go through the governor of the state. I mean, every governor get a prerogative to fit pardon an inmate for inside the state, right? So he had to go through the governor of the state. The governor of the state, who is a very good ally of Nyesom Wike, by the way. So him a very good friend of Nyesom Wike. So you cannot say by extension he's also a good ally of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, a friend of your friend is your friend, an enemy of your enemy is your enemy. So that's it. So this now one of the things. So perhaps there's been that talk and agreement from the presidency to Gov't Fintiri, say this one na your domoti day na your state to make it not be like saying I made drama. Yeah, then they release Sunday Jackson, make her come up for this Trump matter, beg. Face my 2027 war the battle for. So that's a good news, and it's very exciting that somebody will perhaps not get top official, just a poor ordinary farmer will not get anybody fits gets justice for a country like this. Where it be like say justice now for the highest bidder. But somebody will not know anybody at all if we get this kind of justice. And to the extent where we see the United States and everybody carrying matter for head like this, I think it's something that we should merry about and be joyful about. At least such selective justice. Next time when they won't pass that kind of, even the judges will pass that case, when they look and they go to look themselves, but this one will do now, we make you as a look or somehow, they good at all. But let's move on to other issues very quickly. A tragic incident involving a fuel tanker and the convoy of the Senate President, that is Godswill Akpabio, claimed the life of a police dispatch rider, Ibrahim Hussaini, on Sunday. May he so rest in peace. Now, Akpabio made the announcement today, Tuesday, while addressing lawmakers during plenary session, expressing his condolences to the family of the fallen officer. Dispatch riders who were typically police personnel, escort senior government officials on motorcycles marked for official use alone. Now, the Senate president arrived in the chamber shortly after the session began and informed his colleagues that Hussaini had already been laid to rest earlier that morning. Although he did not give a precise location, Akpabio explained that the crash occurred in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, shortly after his convoy was picked up from the airport. Now, he said he went to Oyo State for the installation of our colleague. Unfortunately, my dispatch rider was run over by a tanker driver and his head was shattered. Goodness me. We just buried him 15 minutes ago in Kogi State. He left 2 wives and 4 children. Now, by the grace of God, the Senate President said, I'm recommending 2 of his children for employment immediately in any parastatals that they may wish to. Otherwise, I'll employ them personally in any of my private concerns. He noted that the officer was buried in Kogi State and is survived by 2 wives and 4 children. Now, following the announcement, Sunday Karimi, the senator representing Kogi West, raised a motion on personal explanation to formally present the matter to the Senate. Karimi described Hussaini as a deputy superintendent of police who was expected to retire next year. He added that the officer, who hailed from Kogi State, had been part of Akpabio's security details since 2023, when Akpabio assumed office as Senate President. Now, Karimi also informed lawmakers of another loss, the death of Ibrahim Turka, a long-serving driver attached to Issa Jibrin. Now, the senator representing Kogi East is Issa Jibrin. Tukur reportedly passed away in his home on Saturday, I think, after 25 years of service. Jibrin later addressed the chamber, noting that Tukur had worked with him since his early career as a banker at the now I think at the now defunct Afribank. He offered prayers for the souls, of the driver, for the soul of the driver, and that of the session concluded with Akwabi asking senators to observe a minute silence for him. Now, before we continue with that case, I'd just like to let you know this incident happened immediately he arrived at Oyo State. So the Senate president was in Oyo State over the weekend for the coronation of Sheyi Tinubu. I just didn't want to talk about that because I didn't think it was newsworthy enough for us to talk about. So the Senate president was in Oyo State when Ibisi didn't give Sheyi Tinubu chieftaincy title. And a lot of people about the way the Senate, how frail the Senate president appeared, while he was trying to um, access, come down from his car and access the venue. People can look and say, Oga Senate President, it is well. May God heal you. You can see how it looks clearly like he was struggling to come down. Clearly, like somebody who's in pain, or perhaps just had a surgery, or we get perhaps mobility issue. You can see that. And this not be the first video where we don't see of the Senate presidents where it they like say they're difficult for him to work. We don't see other footages where we say a day like that. We be like say a day hard for him to work. And we don't know why this is. If you remember earlier this month, there was a news that broke out that the Senate president was sick and was rushed to a hospital in the United Kingdom where he was taking treatments. And even though say the Senate come threats and say anybody will raise alarm, say the Senate president don't die, made them arrest that person. I'm not sure any media house actually said he was dead, but what the media houses said was, I think, within the person who break the news, I think, the lady that broke the news, she just mentioned that he was sick and he was rushed to, I think whether he slumped or something, and he was rushed to the hospital in the United Kingdom, flown with the Dangote private jet, we heard. So, and then what's the name? The Sahara reporters also carried that news too. So it's really, really sad. But it wasn't long after that the Senate president come back into the country, and we see him back into the country, even when they welcome him back as he arrived. And people come to talk, say, "Oh, why are people lying? He's well, healed, and hearty." But you can clearly see how, it looks like. I will wish him well and. Quick recovery anywhere where the pain and make it day alive, make it recover quick. And waiting we wish and be that. All right, let's move on to other conversations very, very quickly as the matter the hot sharp. So today a lot of drama happened. That thing that your friend Sabi do, you said Sabi do, we do like what your mama teach you, another person mama teach and so Abi, because that's exactly the case of Sheyi Makinde and Nyesom Wike, because Sheyi Makinde decided to also hold his own town hall meeting today. Our media chat, that's what you call it, right? Okay. He held his own media chats today, where he also invites press people, made them come out. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna come, make a tell on my own side of the story. All the things when this on a friend Wike don't they do, come, make a tell. And it was like he opened a can of worm on Wike. People say what's in the apple. Sheyi Makinde, you can talk like this? Okay. So Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State revealed that the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in a meeting promised to hold, see, President Tinubu, I go hold down PDP for you. So in the point I'm saying, the reason we make PDP day in the Surrey today now because of saying Wike deliberately won't make sure say or promise the president that he will scatter PDP for him so that he will get to position for PDP. You see, if this is actually the case, I'm sorry to say, and with all due respect, Mr. President and Nyesom Wike, I feel like it is cowardice for you to rather look for a way to ensure that make your opponents them not even get a party to run or make it destabilize their party, make it struggle, make only you get party. That's cowardice. If you believe, say your power strong, rich, and people like you because of the good work what you don't do for these past 2 years, well, a lot of us believe say you don't do good work. You understand? What's he supposed to not to get if you reach you, if he clear you well, make it come contest with me, make I see. Now Nigerians go decide say I'm too good. That's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. Say, make you tell yourself, say, I know sir too good. I don't to serve Nigerians them baje. So you don't get anybody will be say if you match me. If you contest near me, Nigerians go shame you. Make an equal playing ground, a fair game. Make we see that person where them born well, we go fit contest with you. Why? Because of your records, the good work where you don't do. But not be to stifle the opposition. So if by stifling the opposition, now what's it be say the president and Wike see as politics, as their own game of politics, and their way be say they feel you should say there's a bit politicking. I'm sorry. For me, that is a purely an act of cowardice. Because if you get your game on, you're not supposed to fear whether opposition day or not. I no go fit go exam, go sit down for exam all my life. I don't dey write for exam. Make I go back seat, go write, sit down for exam. Because of say I dey fear make invigilator no catch me. You know, some people go back seat or something like that. I don't even know how to explain it. I go sit down for ground because of say I know say he reach me well. I read well. I fit even sit down for front seats. The first person, maybe the teacher they look me well. I dey write my thing. Why? Because I know that I'm not afraid of being caught with any instrument of exam malpractice, bullet as they call them those years. Because why? I read well, enter exam hall. I'm not be that kind of person. So the same way, if you show you say you don't do your homework well, as a president for these 2 years and counting where you don't rule, you're not supposed to fear any opposition to the extent of destabilizing the opposition to make sure say they not get a party or they not feel the candidates will go fit contest with you. How dare Wike even say, or that thing where they saying talk, if he truly talk more? If he truly talk, how dare he say that, you're not supposed to field another candidate, that the only condition for peace is for PDP not to have a candidate? Oh, really? For PDP not to have a candidate? Are you serious? For PDP not to have a candidate? So PDP must support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then where is the democracy? Oh, if PDP decide to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then Labour Party through Abure decide to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all the opposition parties decide to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then where is the position? Where is the democracy? No need for election now. Because the money we will go spend for that election, I'm waiting they bust my brain. In the past election, we spent over 300 billion naira. But we'll not see that, we'll never see account from Oga Mahmoud waiting to use that money do today. So if we spend that kind of money again, which we're likely to spend more, because this administration, in fact, it go double now for a general election now. Because why? Things don't get more expensive. So if we go spend that kind of money for something where we say we know, say we don't want an opposition, there is no need. There is no need for money where we don't get. When Nigerians they suffer for like that, there's no need to have an election. It's just to tell the president to simply continue till 2030, whatever, anytime when you want. Because you cannot call it an election when you have deliberately stifled opposition, made a no contest. And a lot of people they talk say, oh, it'd be like saying that we came modus operandi with that, because that's actually what he did in Rivers State in 2019. When he make sure say PDP no get any candidates. Sorry, APC no get any candidates. So it wasn't like he won any election. He won the 2019 election free and fair, as it were. I mean, he did win the election, but not like so he basically won it without a competition. In fact, there was this guy, I keep forgetting this man's name every time when I disagree, remind me. There was this guy in Rivers State from an unknown party. That time, at that time, that party was unknown. That guy was already, because them Amechi and the rest of them, that's okay, you know what, make we get candidates, I'll be okay, no problem. They threw their weight behind this particular unknown candidate. The guy had already won him in how many local government areas? According to them, say, oh, here, order came from Abuja for them to stop the collation of results. And that was when abracadabra happened, and he started winning again. So, I mean, so if he show you where, you're not supposed to be fight, make opposition no get candidates. That one not be, that one for an act of person will be say no show, we in game no show. If you game show you where, you could suppose say, make I contest. If you show you where, come contest it. Can you match my intelligence? Can you match my actions? Can you match my doings? Can you match the work I have done for my people? Come. You get as person go too good. You yourself, you go no say shame go catch you if you can't contest for one Nigerians day. So let's go back to that conversation with Sheyi Makinde. So the governor today, Tuesday, during a media chat in Ibadan, or your state, noted that Mr. Wike had the right to make his political choice as others could. He said, I was in a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nyesom Wike and others, when Wike volunteered to hold the PDP for Tinubu against 2027. That is, lock down PDP for him. Made they no shit. Made they don't go anywhere. And I was in shock. Wike can support the president in 2027, but I will not. That's what Makinde talked. Now, affirming his loyalty to the People's Democratic Party, Makinde explained that he informed President Tinubu of his inability to work with the Oyo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress. I said, no, sir. I can never help you organize the APC in Oyo State because I am of the PDP. That's not Makinde talk. Now, the governor noted that the feud between him and FCT Minister stemmed from his refusal to join forces with Mr. Wike, despite being in an opposition party to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election. So Wike dey vex for am because of say you no gree support Tinubu. You no gree support me, make we join hands support Tinubu. You no gree join me, make we support Tinubu together. You no good now. So now wetin make you vex on you? I should be wearing friend. Your G5, I should be wearing friend. It's not good. Now, the real issue is that Wike would like to support the president for 2027. That's fine. It is within his rights. But some of us want to ensure that democracy survives in Nigeria and that PDP survives as well. He should allow us to make our own choices. I tried to engage him through a mutual friend, but when he did not back off, I confronted him directly. From that day, I made it clear I would never be part of this. We can support him, but it is also within my, you can support him, but it is, or Wike can support him, but it's also within my right to decide who I will support or what I will do in 2027. This explains the current conflict within the PDP. It is within his right to do that, but also it is within my own right to decide within the political space who and I will support for 2027. He said quite a lot of other stuff, but let's quickly take a listen to him. And then I'd like to play you something that happened on the Rice Television earlier today with a Wike's supporter, the chieftain of PDP, who's a Wike's supporter, and Rufai Yoseni of Rice Television. But before then, we could go see what Sheyi Makinde talk first when we come back.
We are just to support you. However, let me say this. If you've selected the Minister of Power because you want him to help you organize the APC in Oyo State, he doesn't have the capacity. I told the president. He said, no, Sheyi, it's you that I want to help me organize APC in Oyo State. I said, no, sir, I can never help you organize APC in Oyo State because I am of the PDP. So, if we have a government of national unity, a government of national competence, we will have been in a very different environment right now. And let me just mention again this issue of Wike. This.
Your friend.
Huh?
Your friend Wike.
My friend Wike. Okay. So this was the exact first contract that Mobile gave to Macon. I was 29. It was $1 million. Within that 1 year, I made $1 million in my pocket. I was 29. 1997. Wike perhaps at that time just left. He just left law school, and then his next job after that was local government chairman. And the trajectory was, I don't beef anybody. But the real issue is that I was in a meeting with the president and Wike. And I'm saying this, in an open chat. The president's chief of staff was also in that meeting, and a few others. And Wike said to the president that, well, sir, I will hold PDP for you, against 2027. I was in shock. So we got up, we got to the veranda. I said, Wike, did we agree to this? I don't like talking about people, and I will not talk about people or talk about events. But I'll talk about the real issue. The real issue is that Wike would like to support the president for 2027. That's fine. It is within his right to do that. But also some of us that want to, ensure that democracy survives in Nigeria. We don't drift into a one-party state, and we want to ensure that PDP survives. he should also allow us to do our own thing. That is just the issue between me and Wike. And I confided in a mutual friend of us after that meeting. And I kept thinking, okay, I mean, the president did not ask him, do this for me. He was the one that volunteered that I will do that. So when I was telling our mutual friend, I said, look, maybe he was talking about an errand that the president never sent him. So let's watch, let's engage him. Let's see if he will back off. But he never did. So after he didn't back off, I said, well, now it's time to confront him. Because I told him from that day that I will never be a part of this. And that is why I will not be supporting the president for 2027. Wike can support him, he's within his right, but also it is within my own right to decide within the political space who I will support or what I will do in 2027.
Your Excellency. Now
so you don't hear that waiting Sheyi Makinde talk and waiting be the real cocoa. So bottom line, not be saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu force him, make him talk, say you must support me for 2027. What it looks like from waiting Sheyi Makinde talk, now Wike overzealously want to promise the president, you see 2027, forget about PDP. It's not going to be a problem for you. I go hold them down for you. That's actually what it looks like based on waiting Oga Sheyi Makinde just talk right now. And, one other thing he said that the president can actually call his minister to order. Tell him, say, okay, as much as I'm not saying you this thing, but at this point, I feel say you don't do overdo it. So just take the back seat. I beg, just withdraw more. Make them no see me like person we be say I do champion one party system. I won't create only one party for Nigeria. So the president can actually call, Wike to order. But has he called him to order? That's the question. That I'm waiting people to talk. Or is it that he's kind of enjoying what Wike is doing to other political parties, to his opposition, to in opponents, or in perceived opponents, we suppose come for the election? And then if that's not the case, then where is the democracy we're talking about? Well, before I go back to Sheyi Makinde interviews, make I just play that excerpt of that conversation with, I think, Oga Ama Abraham, will be PDP chieftain, way they loyal to Wike faction of PDP. And the argument he had with Rufai in the morning over his support for Nyesom Wike, basically because of this same issue, when Rufai tell him, say, is it fair, not be anti-party activity, for you to tell your political party, say, one condition I will give for peace, and make one not get presidential candidate, and I will support Tinubu? Why would you say that? Make you hear that argument. The
PDP story is a developing story.
Okay, go ahead.
And in that developing story, every faction have their vision of where they are going.
Wike had said that one of the conditions for peace is for them to jettison any idea of having a candidate to run in this election, and he wants President Tinubu. Then all of this is not about peace, it's about destruction of the PDP.
Even if the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has some interest to support the president, it's not an aberration. Now, let me tell you something. I want to fall to your second trap. Even in the worst case scenario, if Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, has come out to say he's supporting Tinubu, it's as simple as, why do you want us to support Tinubu?
Really?
That is the question.
Okay, so
in the table. No,
let him land on this point.
That is the question in the table.
Okay.
Which people, other party members will ask him in that negotiation table. Okay. That why do you want us to support Tinubu? Okay. Why don't you want us to have our own presidential candidates?
Wait a minute.
Yes, it is in that table.
Wait a minute. I like you so much because you enter my trap. Is that not an anti-party activity? Is that not an aberration to the loyalty you swore to your party, that you even have the nerve that a man that claims to be a party man is supporting another person?
Well, I will not join issues with you, but let me answer your question.
Yes.
Let me tell you, anti-party is defined
as what?
As when a party member goes behind the door to do something against his party. When I present a position on the table, you understand? We have a coalition, we have an alliance. When, as a party person, I present myself, I did not go behind the party to work against the interests of the party. I come right in the house to tell my wife, we cannot have another child. Because of your health.
We have to go now.
We have
to go now.
There's nothing wrong about that.
So can I ask you this? It's obvious you and the Wike faction are supporting Tinubu and you will keep fomenting trouble in the party because you are against
now, let me also conclude by saying that from the show and what Nigerians have seen, you too, you have some issues with Wike, which I don't know. You understand? Because in every show, you are always calling Wike. You as a person, you have what I don't. There are things which I don't know. You understand? Because the whole of this program, is centered on Wike. All about you.
Mr. Abraham.
All about you. You did not invite me to speak on Wike. You invited us to speak on the debate. You have deviated.
No,
because of your gross. May God help you people to settle your problem.
Okay, so you heard that argument. Okay, so I mean, the guy turned everything around on Rafai and said, well, I don't know the problem with this you get with Wike. So now you get problem with Wike. I don't understand the kind of problem we get with Wike. Now you know, and all that. But let's take a look at some of the things he said. One, he first talk say at the time Wike said that he would like to support President Bola Tinubu and that his party should not field a candidate, a presidential candidate for 2027. That the party ought to have called him and said, hey, come on, dear our brother Wike, you know we respect you a lot. Come and explain to us, why do you think we should not have a candidate? Why do you think we should not have our own candidates? Why do you think we should, present support the president from another political party? Why should we not have our own candidate? Are you kidding me? So that's actually the right thing to do for a political party to rather beg a member of the party that is clearly displaying anti-party activity as to why he is doing so. I don't understand. Person say, "Make una leave, make una not get a presidential candidate." I mean, this is all about power, being in power. And you agree, say, what the party would have done is to come and ask him, why do you think we should not have a candidate? Are you serious? This is a once ruling party. Once upon a time, the biggest party in Africa. Now be this so. And then with the explanation he made about anti-party activity, he said anti-party activity now when, did you hear the explanation of that definition? That anti-party activity is when a member of the party goes behind the party and, supports another opponent. But when you come to their forum to support, say that will not be anti-party. Are you kidding me? I beg. I had to quickly run to Google to help me explain what an anti-party be. Now, here is the response. In politics, anti-party activity involves actions by members that undermine their own political party. Please tell me, when you say your party should not field a presidential candidate and must support President Bola Tinubu, what is that? Does he undermine your political party or not? Hey, okay, that's one. Such as openly criticizing leaders, working for rival candidates, sabotaging party goals like conventions, or skewing the party without good cause, often stemming from internal power struggles or a lack of internal democracy, and can lead to expulsion or disciplinary action. It's essentially disloyalty or actions detrimental to the party's interest and electoral success, differing from general anti-partisan, which is broad public distrust of all political parties. So examples of anti-party activities are supporting opponents, like Wike said they must support Tinubu, public criticism, of course, they always criticizing party, internal sabotage, organizing unauthorized meetings, filing frivolous lawsuits, or distributing party events like conventions. Please tell me which of these things we can never do. We make him not qualified to be an anti-party activity. Tell me which of these things we can never do. And it was very interesting to see Mr. Amma Abraham argue so passionately for Nyesom Wike. And if he had said he wanted to support the president, meaning that it's not supposed to be a big deal. The party is supposed to call him to negotiate and ask him how. This is well. Now let's go back to Sheyi Makinde's interview and listen to more things he had to say about the internal.
The PDP story is a developing story.
Okay, go ahead.
In that developing story, every faction have their vision of when they are going.
So go back to Oga Sheyi Makinde and listen to more things when he reveal about their internal struggles.
What is going on, because you yourself mentioned it, that the country is fast moving towards a one-party state. Does PDP have any chance?
Well, the president has the the power to call his minister to order. He said, look, allow democracy to survive in Nigeria. And by the way PDP is today, there is no faction in PDP. We held a convention here in Ibadan. We gave adequate notice to INEC, which is all that we're required to do under the law. So, it may take INEC some time if they choose, to behave like the ostrich, bury their head and the whole of their body is outside. And the current INEC chairman, the job is even very difficult to start with. Now to add all of these things that they're not supposed to have. They basically, this meeting that you said they called the two factions together, they played our people. They invited them and said, we want to engage with the leadership of PDP. And then they got there and found out that they called the Anyanwu and Co. I said, that's even silly to start with. I mean, pardon my language. Sometimes when I get upset, I can speak off. No. So let me finish with Shina. So, why did they not call Damagun? Maybe it was Anyanwu that was the secretary when Damagun was there. Yes. And the notice that went to INEC was a notice signed by both Damagun and Anyanwu. I wanted to basically, ask that they expel Anyanwu at her neck. But people, leaders came and said, look, let us not do that. Let's get the two of them together, and all of that. So the Supreme Court already said whoever is your secretary is the internal affair of the party. There's a Supreme Court judgment on SDP how many days ago saying exactly the same thing. So we had a proper convention here, and Wike and the rest of those people were expelled, and they've been expelled. Even if the court says, look, the convention is not valid, which I don't think is possible, because up to the Supreme Court already said, look, internal affairs of the party is internal affairs of the party. So they can only delay.
All right. So, speaking about this, he did say quite a lot of other stuff, which we would address. But speaking about waiting courts, INEC will talk and waiting INEC no go talk. INEC don't take a swift decision, sharp. They don't even waste time to take a decision concerning this matter, because as they talk to you, they don't refuse. They say they no go recognize the Kabiru Turaki-led National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, citing unresolved legal disputes and subsisting court judgments. Now, the electoral umpire INEC revealed the development in a letter dated December 22, yesterday, 2025, signed by its secretary, Rose Oriaro Anthony. Now, INEC said it had received several requests from legal representatives of the PDP asking it to recognize and update on its website the list of national officers set to have been elected at the party's national convention held on November 15 and 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State. According to the commission, the requests were reviewed in the light of all material facts, extant laws, and what did they say again? And subsisting court judgments touching directly on the subject. So INEC cited two judgments of the Federal High Court in Abuja, with two of them delivered on November 14, 2025. The commission said that both judgments expressly restrained INEC from supervising, monitoring, recognizing, or giving effect to the outcome of the PDP National Convention held on November 15, 16, 2025, or any similar exercise pending full compliance with our courts. Now, both judgments were which are final in nature and binding in all parties, expressively restrained the Commission from supervising, monitoring, recognizing, or in any manner whatsoever giving effect to the outcome of the PAP National Convention. So bottom line, court order day we talk say INEC, no matter what these people do will be National Convention or make on no look at eye, make on no see them, on no like so see himself. Now INEC noted that although notices of appeal had been filed against the judgment, the law is settled that an appeal does not operate as a stay of execution. So until the judgments are set aside or stayed by a competent court, the Commission remains bound to obey and give full effect to them in line with the sections, where they mention for the Constitution. But this issue, it's really very worrisome. I think say everything we get to do with internal politics of a political party and leadership issues. Supreme Court been don't address them, especially with that Aburi versus Nadi Usman and all that case where be said them get for Labour Party. That everything we get to do with leadership issues and all that now within the party to resolve. So how come right now, and then it's been difficult for INEC since then to recognize Nadi Usman on their board, say na him be the, na them be the, na she be the Ogbonge INEC and head of the party, or at least the person will be interim, will they hold the brief interim for inside the party. So why INEC they quick to not recognizing PDP's own because of court judgment or court order? The same court order with Supreme Court will be an appellate court, don't talk, say everything will consign political parties and their hierarchy or make on live into internal politics. You see, so people just they wonder, say, why EBC things we get to do like this with political parties like this? It be like say, INEC just they get double standard. If they act one hand like this, they feel act one hand for another person case. Why EBC they like that? And this now the worry where EBC people they express. But let's move on to other issues. I wanted to play you a few more of what Makinde said, but honestly speaking, I feel like this is internal politics and they're particular problem and they'll be all right. They'll solve their problem and they'll be all right. So let's just move on to other issues because Lai Mohammed did speak. As much as I wouldn't want to talk about that, but I think it's important that we note a few things that he said, especially as regards the answers and the ban of Twitter for inside Nigeria, because he spoke about this too, and he spoke very strongly about it. But before we get to that, let's get straight to the tax law and reactions with Fulham. As Afamo Sigwe, president of the Nigerian Bar Association, don't demand a pause in the scheduled enforcement of the tax acts amid allegations that the bills signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu were doctored after legislative approval. Now, the NBA has called for the suspension of the tax reform pending an investigation into alleged discrepancies between the version passed and approved by the National Assembly and the gazetted version made available to the public. Now, until these issues are fully examined and resolved, all plans for the implementation of the Tax Reform Act should be immediately suspended, the NBA said in a statement yesterday, Monday. And I think not just the NBA, because somebody like Atiku Abubakar too don't talk about the same tax reform bill. As a matter of fact, in talk say it did like say that treason. Why do you want to rape Nigerians of there? So in a statement, Atiku Abubakar described the unauthorized change as a direct assault on our constitutional democracy and condemned the executive branch for bypassing the legislative process. Atiku claims that the alleged amendments grants tax authorities sweeping powers, including the ability to arrest citizens, seize property, and conduct enforcement sales without judicial oversight. They feel say your property if you don't pay tax. They feel arrest you, lock you up if you don't pay tax. And you must pay half of the money. I think 60% of the money you go first pay before they even as they arrest you. As it matter they go court, now you go first pay part of that your tax. So he's saying that this just is treasonable. He said he criticized the government and then this say quite a lot that it's illegal and unauthorized to do this to Nigerians. I mean, not just NBA and him. A lot of other people don't complain about this issue. A lot of other people don't complain about that. But then let's go on to what the National Human Rights Commission said as They highlight the significant internal displacement in Nigeria, with Yobe and Benin recording high numbers. So, presenting the dashboard, and Executive Secretary of NHRC, Tony Ujuku, said Yobe led with 2,047 internally displaced persons, and Benin also featured prominently, reflecting a broader northeast and north central crisis demanding urgent attention. You said 2,047 for Yobe, and I then the lead. I don't understand. I thought Riley Moore said that he went to IDP camp in Benue State and noticed that about 600 people, 600,000 people were in IDP camps. How can you say 2,047 people? Okay, well, he also mentioned Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Benue, Borno, Cross River. So we have people living in IDP in Akwa Ibom State, Akwa Ibom, okay, Cross River, Taraba, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states, showing ongoing humanitarian challenges from conflict, particularly affecting women and children. Now, the total number of recorded IDPs is 9,290, with Yobe. National Human Rights Commission. I'm sorry. Wait. So 9,290 now the total number of people where they live for. So what are you people doing with these records? What are you people doing with these records? Why do they do this record like this? Is this to make it look like, oh, not much Nigerians are in the IDP, so we're actually not in war as Sonatise would do for war? The rest of them, where did they? Are you serious? So the National Human Rights Commission say that a total of 9,290 Nigerians, 90 IDP camps for Nigeria, with Yobe getting 2,047, and Benue just 1,850 amid header attacks. Now, so they put up header attacks, insurgent raids, and destroyed infrastructure, which impacted negatively on livelihoods. Now, these 9,290 IDPs cut across 11 states. Oh, IDPs, not that I don't understand. I need to understand. Is it that we just have 9,290 human beings or 9,290 IDP camps? Because we need to understand. Perhaps IDP camps. Now, with children comprising a huge chunk of 82% of those reached. These are also 215 asylum seekers facing difficulties in registration in Taraba and Cross River states. 583 refugees who are mostly in those states. They said quite a lot of other stuff. He said there was also 472 returnees, 81% of whom were children struggling with reintegration in the available, areas. Over 1,800 human rights violations emerged on top concerns. 530 cases of denied food and shelter in Benue, Taraba, and Kano. 278 freedom of movement restrictions tied to insecurity in Yobe. 198 gender-based violence incidents, and 324 barriers to education threatening a generation in Kano and Taraba states. However, the National Human Rights Commission resolved 372 cases, referred 1,157 to agencies, and conducted 104 detention visits, reaching 326 detainees, and held 331 community outreaches for 6,551 people in gender-based violence prevention and rights. That's what they talk. But they said quite a lot of stuff, and I'd like to read that again. He called on the federal government and states to domesticate the Kampala Convention, integrate the NHRC data into humanitarian plans, and boost security for returnees. He reaffirmed the Commission's push for data-driven protection for Nigeria's 6.7 million displaced persons. It is not people are talking. So in total, 6.7 million Nigerians 90 displaced. So the number mentioned above, now the number of camps, IDP camps we get over 9,000 IDP camps, 9,290 IDPs camps then we get. And inside this 9,200 something, we get about 6.7 million people living inside it. It is more than pathetic what people should go through in a country where there is no war, where war no day. If war can't day, waiting will can't happen. Oh, by the way, as they talk, we hear say no fewer than 5 youths have reportedly lost their lives in a deadly attack attributed to suspected Fulani Herdsmen in Ose, Guma local government area of Benue State. Again, according to local accounts, the assailants barricaded the Otese Yogbo Road during the attack, ambushing and killing the victims in the scene. Several other residents were said to have been forcibly taken to an undisclosed location. Then forced others, collect others, and they killed others. Again, Benue State, again it's happening in Benue State. You see, these things they like say you need to stop at all till they happen. Whoa, let's move on to other political issues, by the way. A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Anthony Ihilebo, has urged former presidents, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former President Goodluck Jonathan, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, and ex-presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, including Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, to unify ahead of the 2027 elections. Ihilebo called on the listed leaders to come together and select a single presidential candidate for 2027. He talks all this one I did like this no go work. Let me say this here. Unlike some people who did not listen to in 2023, I will only work and vote for a unified presidential candidate or the strongest presidential candidate. I am in PDP, but will not be stupid in voting. It is my hope that we have one unified candidate to remove these forgers. Who be forger? Okay, why are you like this? Now he said Atiku, Makinde, GEJ, Peter, Kwankwaso better get their acts together and pick one person. I don't talk my own. You know, get who I fear to talk to. So he posted. So he said, well, a lot of people don't they call for this. I don't know why themselves they don't want shade body. By the way, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso don't throw a shade at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but just a little bit, until I'm saying, Oga. Say government where they fail to protect him, people not supposed to do business. No, they're not supposed to get any business for inside office. So it be like say APC and I go back going on. And we're saying, is this not somebody who we were looking at being a vice president? Why are you now throwing a shade at your Oga? Or is it because of the thing where they go with Christian genocide and all that? So you don't show you say you know if you be candidate again. So now because of that, make Kukuma tear everything casts at once. Because he can't be a candidate again. Is that why you're sounding this way? Okay, moving into other issues. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has firmly dismissed persistent speculations about defecting to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, emphasizing that he will not switch parties simply because other governors are doing so. So look, I don't get who say in the video, but maybe there's another reason he will. Now, speaking about democracy and truncating democracy and coups in Nigeria. There's something the Rwandan president said, that is Paul Kagame. He said that he has reignited some kind of continental discussion on governance and political stability, declaring that not all coups are bad. Take note. Not be every coup way they bad. And distinguishing between reckless power grabs and interventions that tackle deep-rooted corruption. Hey, you don't understand. Say, there's some people will be saying if you just grab power because of say they won't grab power. But the kind coup will be say if you do that coup because of say it won't stop nonsense to be happen for your country, then that coup they vanish to happen. So which coup now will they good and bad? Now, in remarks made during a recent press interaction, clips of which have gone viral on social media, including a widely shared video captioned, coups are acceptable if they end corruption. Kagame argued that military takeovers often signal underlining failures in leadership. They just happen. It is signal on the okay, Kagame, he said, where coups are taking place, it means there is something wrong. He said, adding that some arise from genuine public outrage against abusive or corrupt regimes, while others are merely opportunistic. Okay. Talking about that, the three countries who don't successfully get a coup for inside Africa, where people feel say they do well for sub-Saharan Africa, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, after they launched their own joint military team to battle insurgency and all that. Well, they don't also launch another thing because as they talk to you right now, they don't inaugurate the Confederal Bank for Investment and Development of the Sahel. So a major step toward regional economic integration for them. They say this one and make it be say everybody away from those regions, make it be say they fit to get ease of business and access to fund and all of those kind of things. Some people they say, ooh, what democratic government could not do. ECOWAS, you on a day since this kind of thing, one I never do them. Since I don't fight ECOWAS. That's what people are saying. But I don't think it's necessary. But moving on to other issues. Remember that retired Army General Danjuma Hamisu Ali Kafi, right? We don't talk a lot of things concerning what he go through and had him forcefully make and retire. Well, he has instituted a multi-billion lawsuit as I speak to you at the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, Abuja, against the Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff, and the Nigerian Army Council, the Chief of Defense Staff, and the Armed Forces of the Federal Minister of Armed Forces, Council, the Minister of Defense, and the Attorney General of the Federation. Now, what's make it do this one? He did this one. Why? Because it talk say it challenge how being used unnecessarily sack him for work, how they pressurized him to resign. So now waiting in the challenge with that. Remember, he said quite a lot, including how he had written to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the things that went passed through and the no grey here. Now him reveal say the President Buhari regime didn't really want to fight insurgency like that. Yeah, the body language will be like say he won't fight insurgency. And him being the leader of Operation OSW, where he say we release the names of people that will and capture some people where the suspect said in the fund terrorism for Nigeria. Now, moving on to other issues, a coalition of northern groups has raised the alarm over what it described as a treasonable subversion away of Nigerian democratic order, accusing elements within the executive arm of government, of secretly altering key provisions of recently gazetted tax reforms laws after their passage by the National Assembly. So then the talk said they're not like this one where they happen at all. In a statement signed by its national coordinator, Comrade Jamilu Aliyu Charunchi, the CNG said it was deeply disturbing that tax reform bills, which were duly debated subjected to public hearings and passed by legislature, were later doctored, rewritten, and gazetted as law by some criminal-minded idiot. He said they'll be criminal. Hey! Wow. This just shows the coalition of northern groups talk say they're not really happy with this kind of development at all. However, this kind of thing take happen, they don't like them at all. Going back to this security issue very quickly. Madam Obi Ezekwesili don't they talk say, excuse me, the children I never released them finish. In total, and I've been telling us that 315 students, now be said them been kidnapped. And out of the 315, I tell us about 50 now escape. And I can't tell us say they first released 100 last week. Now, and I can't release another 130. That makes about 280. So where the rest 35 or so they, we want to keep them. And you don't reach on and go explain to us where they did and what they happen. So she's making a case for them. And people they talk say there might actually be a point in what she's saying. But then moving on to another issue. Ogalai Mohammed don't talk about a few things recently. First, he spoke about why his administration insisted that he wanted to ban Twitter. Take a listen to him.
Took the right decision because hoodlums had hijacked it at that time.
Let's talk about Twitter, which you wrote in this book as well. People have said that the reason why Twitter was banned is to the fact that it touched the fragile ego of the political class, the president himself. But I listened to you said no, that there have been conversations prior to that led to the eventual, banning of Twitter. But one of the things that was said as a push, you were saying that they were supposed to regularize a few things, such as maybe opening office in Nigeria and all of that. So maybe you put the fact out today on behalf of Nigerians to say, why exactly was Twitter banned? And what were the conditions for Twitter to be restored? And have those conditions been met?
You see, I think it must be 2017 when I started the campaign against fake news and disinformation. I think it was 2017, and it was in Plateau State when I converted a National Council on Information meeting to address this issue of fake news and hate speeches, because I knew the dimension it was taking. I followed that up my visit to media houses to assist us in combating the dangers of fake news, hate speeches, and disinformation. After which, we had cause to invite several of these, blogs to please plead with them that there should be self-regulation. That we were not even thinking of, a law to stifle the media, but we were concerned that an unregulated social media was dangerous to society. So along the line, we invited many of these social media platforms. Again, we also found out that around that same time, certain platforms became the platform of choice for those that wanted to destroy our stability and our unity. And we want them. As a matter of fact, when we took the decision to suspend the operations of Twitter, the president, God bless his soul, asked me only one question: do I have the capacity to do so? And I said, I discussed with my colleague, the Minister of Communication and Economy. But the sole purpose why we suspended the operation of Twitter was because it was becoming reckless. And when we even warned them.
Reckless, is that your definition of dissenting voice?
No.
Because some people will argue, Alhaji, my apologies, that it was the strength of the social media that supported the bringing on board of the All Progressives Congress. Now it has helped to bring the government on board, and now the government is cracking down.
Well, you hear that and listening talk. And he also did speak about the NSAS, and he gets a few things when you talk about NSAS, even though people they talk say, make me listen to him again. I'm sure you may have read the stats before.
The real facts. This is what this book is all about.
One of those spots that defined that administration of which you were at the forefront is still a very controversial defining moment in our history, the NSAS, which I'm sure you captured in this book, which had to do with whether or not, because when the panel came up with their reports, I remember vividly all kinds of controversy emanated. I think I was watching you one time when you were saying it's riddled with inconsistencies and all of that. I think the panel had reported some deaths that were occasioned by that, shooting that happened at the toll gate. The initial problem was who gave the order for them to come. There was a back and forth as to who gave the order. Eventually, they were invited. And then whether or not their bullets were the ones that killed people or it was a stampede. What is your current position as to what happened then? Because it's difficult to believe nobody was killed at the Lekki toll gate. But the government has constantly maintained that is their position. What is your position today, looking back at 2020?
Geoffrey, 5 years later, my position has not changed. Because even before the soldiers were drafted, I was in touch with the Chief of Defense Staff. I was in touch with the hierarchy of the military. Because we were monitoring this development. At no point did the government ever say that lives were not lost during NSAS. We lost several lives, including soldiers, including policemen. But nobody was killed at the toll gate.
But the panel has said people were killed. Amnesty International said 12 people. But so the panel that was set up, people were killed.
Geoffrey.
But the government is saying people were not killed.
Geoffrey, it's very simple logic, Geoffrey. If your ward, either your son or your daughter, goes to the toll gate, does not come back, and is killed, won't you make representation to government All 5 years after, nobody has come out to me today to say my son or my daughter or my ward went to the top, he didn't come back.
So what do you make of the panel that was specifically set up by the Lagos state government who alluded to that fact? And compensations were paid to people who casualty reported and all of that. We have all these documents. It's public information.
I am not part of Lagos state government. Geoffrey, I did not know how the panel arrived at their conclusion. Geoffrey, I was in the room where the shots were taken. And I knew that the soldiers went to a toll gate with blank shots, blank bullets. We can go over this again and again, but what...
All right, so you don't hear what's in Ogalai Mohammed talk, but it is some things where they surprise me for the things and when you talk, because apart from say the panel expressly states say people die for inside Lekki toll gates. I don't know if you remember, a year or so later when Ibise report come out, and I don't know why Jeffrey did not. I mean, the journalist did not ask that question, because even including in own paper also carried that report. That is talking about Channels Television. Carry that same report where they mentioned that same thing. So I don't know why he did not ask that question, where they mentioned that leaks memo shows Lagos state government approved 61 million naira for mass burial of 103 NSAS victims. So if nobody died, who be the 103 people where they won't do mass burial? I mean, we heard of all the drama that happened, how, the people who died, they put them, according to people who see the team for Korokoro Eye, how people who died, they put them inside a military truck, and how it be say, water tanker, wash the place and all those gists that we had that time. But as at the time this report was made, it now corroborated the claims of those who were saying that people actually died at Lekki toll gates. After so much denial by the Lagos state, by government generally, because both Lagos state government, both the federal government, no agree say anybody died. But as at just 2023 July, this report come out that the Lagos state government had spent 61 million naira for mass burial of the people who died for Lekki toll gates that were in a private morgue in Lagos state. So who be those people then where they won't conduct mass burial for, or where they eventually conduct the mass burial for if they eventually did it? And not be me write the reports. This is not the reports them here. Even Channels Television covered it or had it in their news. So how come he wasn't asked that question? That beg, how about this particular incident? Who be the 103 bodies will be the victims of the NSAS? How did they die? Okay, these victims of NSAS, how did they become victims of NSAS? And how did we come about these 103 bodies that we want to bury? That's not the question we people are supposed to be asked. If nobody died for inside Lekki toll gate, who be these 103 people who be the Lagos state government talks say they won't do mass burial for 2023? And how did we come about this number? What thing caused their death? What thing be the cause of their death? If no be as a result of waiting happen? These are questions that we should be asking. It's very unfortunate. We can not waste on time because night don't come. By the way, phone lines are open, so you're free to jump in on the conversation. Let me see if I can publish that phone line very quickly so that you can jump in on the conversation as fast as possible, and then we get the conversation going while I run through other topics where we get this evening. So here you go. Phone lines are already published, so you can join in. Well, I did tell you what the Coalition of Northern Group said, and then what Obi Ezekwesili said. Okay. So the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the immediate posting and redeployment of dozens of Assistant Commissioners of Police, ASPs, and 2 Superintendents of Police. Now, the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, on Tuesday issued a nationwide posting of senior officers effective January 2026 across multiple commands, divisions, and specialized units. So that's to say that there's a massive shake-up in the force, reassignments of dozens of people. That's now it's going to happen. To what end, I do not know. I mean, 2026 is a political year, so they expect a lot of these kind of things to use checkmate using they happen for inside Nigeria. Some people they talk like that. And then terrorists attacked civil defense outposts in Niger State and collected their guns. Very sad. So gunmen today, Tuesday, attacked the Nigerian security and civil defense nipping point at I think Ibrahim Lete village. I think along the Wawa Luma Road in Niger State, cutting away a service rifle. Security sources said that the attack occurred, I think, around 4:30 a.m. early this morning. Oh, early yesterday morning, we're already on a new day. When a large number of armed terrorists stormed the isolated outpost and opened fire on the security officers, according to the counterinsurgency analysts and counterterrorism experts that released the story. Sources familiar with the incident said that two NSCDC personnel on duty at the time took cover as the attackers unleashed sustained gunfire on the patrol vehicle and in the mini office at the location, and of course collecting their ammunition from them. Very, very sad. Some of the things we've already seen. Okay. And then the lifeless body of a police officer, Inspector Muhammad Yakubu, who was declared missing, has been recovered in Benue State weeks after he was reported missing while on an official duty. So you don't lose since they find him, and then they just see him body somewhere. This is sad. Now, this is not part of the security where they happen for Nigeria. Now there's a trend in Lagos City people don't they complain about. It'd be like say it just don't do no manner to the seated body for road from Lagos State. It go just dey the seated body anyhow. Whether na people wey dey waka or the slum or na people wey ritual killers they dump, you can't even tell. You see people, dead bodies for Lagos from time to time. Why? People they complain. But let's move on with the conversations. As families of 5 workers abducted at a road construction site along the Sabaja Owoniro Road in Ifelo, the local government area of Kwara State, have urgently appealed to the state government and security agencies to secure their release. Now, speaking, I think, to Subi FM today, Tuesday, on behalf of the families, Malam Isa Abdullahi revealed that the kidnappers had contacted them demanding for 500 million naira. It is the way these kidnappers call this money. It's very funny. 500 million naira. Now did they ask of 500? I mean, where these families won't get this money? Well, Nigerians, phone lines are open, Jerry. Let's take your thoughts and reactions. What do you think about all these conversations that we don't get today? The WhatsApp line is still open. 0817 029 4077. That is the number to call. 0817 029 4077. That is the number to call. Or you call, or you just follow the link with the inside the page post. That link will bring you straight into the studio, make you for fit to join the conversation. If you follow the link for the page post, that link will bring you straight into the studio, and then you could join us straight for inside the conversation to be part of the conversation. Or you call the WhatsApp number, that's alternatively 0817 That's the WhatsApp number to call to be part of the conversation. And then moving on to other issues. People for inside Akwa Ibom State, they worried about how their land, how did they struggle. They said when the sun rises over Iben or local government area in Akwa Ibom State, its light falls on the land rich in oil but poor in everything else. And the people here say they are surrendered by wealth, yet live in darkness, thirst, and hunger. They don't get good drinking water, they don't get lights, they don't get anything. Now waiting that they suffer for Akwa Ibom State. And I think the Senate President should actually hear this and do something about the people, even though say they don't be immediate constituents, but it should kind of push a cause for them now. Make something really happen. Okay, lots of other stories that I would love us to talk about. I mean, waiting they do to cult groups for inside Nigeria. Then how 20 crew members escaped death as Nigerian Navy vessel catches fire in Cross River State. Those things and other issues then NIBC will suppose look at this evening. I'd like to say a big thank you to you guys. I don't know if anyone is joining us live. I'm waiting for your calls, by the way. Okay, let's see if we can take a few calls and before I call you today. Hello, good evening and welcome. Hello. Good evening, welcome, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from? I can't hear you properly. Can you please speak up again?
Is my name.
Davo,
Can you hear me?
Davo, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, please.
Thank you. Welcome. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Lagos.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, actually what piqued my imagination was the statement by Lai Mohammed denying the fact about that there was no killing in
Lekki toll
and
gates.
first Lekki toll gate. But the truth is that you rightly say that they were questions that Jeffrey did not ask. Till today, there's a DJ who stream live this live. She's
Yes.
not in this country up
Yes.
to now as we speak, and I believe she barely escaped, ran out of this country. We have mainstream media that I expect them to even travel. They have been traveling abroad to report WHO and other meetings. Are you telling me that there's nobody in Nigeria that can not go and meet this lady to report the news? Because the truth is that even our mainstream media are being watched by NBC. They can sanction them when they begin to report. It's not everything that is reported. Just the same as I am from Plateau State. Several times they will kill 50, 100 people, 200. Sometimes news journalists that goes there to cover the story are being paid. It's not a hidden fact. They are being paid and to be told that this is the number that you will report. And that's why you see this the best TV station I respect in Nigeria today right now is News Central, because the way it has been doing town halls, if you've been covering their town hall meetings that they've been doing, covering about the crisis.
Yes, they let people speak up. Yeah.
You hear people speak from you. In fact, generals are there. The last one they did, the generals ran away. They were left. When there was a guy from Kaduna who even mentioned that when channels reported so number of houses were burned, when he was coming, I don't know if you've seen that interview. The man mentioned.
I've played a couple of them here too before.
General said that 50 houses, but he counted more than 200 houses. And even the journalist even said that he was arrested, taken to jail, and he wanted to see people that kill people in Kaduna, who have been killing people in southern Kaduna during Buhari's government. But he met the people who were killing, and they now said, which means saying that not long ago they would take all out. And if you hear what Lai Mohammed said, he vividly mentioned that why they banned Twitter was because of the crisis in Jos. If you don't, did you really hear him very well? If you play that interview again, he said because he went for a press conference, because they were during Buhari's government, they tried to suppress that truth. Until when you see that Ezekiel Gatcho was said what he said, it's not even a main pastor, it was that pastor who said what he said that went viral. And if you remember, it wasn't long that Sultan of Sokoto mentioned that Twitter is a media. The media is a terrorist organization. If you remember, it was on newspaper. What I'm just saying, it has facts. So there are so many things that our leaders have been trying to hide. So sometimes if they be media stations organize town halls, like for instance now, do you know that every time they do kidnapping, why is it that our mainstream media won't have access to all these Dafty girls and get some of them even undercover? To like the way Shoyembo used to report. And then you go there and get these people first-hand information, let them speak. There are so many news that are not even in mainstream media, just like the way Marcus Onoja mentioned last time about the only female speaker in Bauchi when the local government area of the Siawa or Tamapalewa local government was relocated to Bungu. Until when that man came out and spoke on media, it was never reported even on any newspaper. So there are so many news that have been suppressed. It's the same thing with this NSAS case as I'm talking to you about. There are some things that government has said, let us, it will die down. Because when the news was even reported on CNN also backed down. There are even international, DW, I was watching, DW, CNN, RFI of France. All these media, all of them were reporting the NSAS killing. But at a point, they too loud backed down. They were not reporting it. So there's a way you see some of these things, the way government is always economical with the truth. And for PDP, I just pray that, you see, that's why even Mufang has also the camp. But what I know is that 2027 election is going to be between the Nigerian people versus the government. That's what I think. And let me stop there so that other people can call. But that is it's a simple fact.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. All right, Nigerians, one lines are still open. Let's see if we can take one or two more calls. I know it's already late into the night. 08170294077, or you call the WhatsApp line that is already on the pin post. You click on the link that is in the pin post, and it will bring you straight to the studio to be part of the conversation. So whilst we're doing that, let me quickly just say I think it's time for us to just take about what there's something if somebody don't raise alarm. Say it be like say they won't arrest um, Atiku, we Amechi, and some other key oppositions, and that's in the plan by the federal government to do so. So, a public affairs analyst and activist Adekunle Adebayo has raised the alarm over what he described as a plot to arrest and intimidate key opposition figures in Nigeria, including Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi. Adebayo disclosed this in a statement made available to Daily Post today, Tuesday, warning that the alleged move forms part of a wider strategy to weaken opposition politics and entrench a de facto one party system in the country. Well, we're hearing something about a court giving order for the seizure of Jonathan's properties. So I don't know if that is anything to go by again. So that's like a subtle threat to Jonathan. You better stay off, stay clear. Now he alleged that Atiku, Rotimi Amechi, and former Kaduna State Governor Rufai have been earmarked to be arrested or matched to be arrested. According to him, other prominent political figures, including Isa Ali Pantami, Raul Farid Beshola, Ibrahim Imam, and others, are also being targeted. Adebayo claimed that the alleged plans follows earlier arrests and detentions of former Sokoto and Anambra states at Aminu Tambawa and Ngigi, as well as former Attorney General of the Federation. So say they won't arrest these people. Okay, so people will play fireworks at the background. So sincere apologies if you're hearing the sound of fireworks. All right, so let's see if I have somebody at the backyard. Let's quickly speak to the person and then we'll take a bow. I have Henry here. Henry, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Precious. How are you doing? Good
I'm
evening,
good.
David.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm okay. Yeah.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me just go straight to the point. I mean, any nation that involve themselves in the terrorist activities, for the fact the US is concerned, they will always come to them, and because then, like as US already told them to release that Jackson, the one that was defended himself while they
Yeah,
were
Sunday Jackson. Sunday
struggling.
Jackson.
Yeah. So I knew that they will release him because. Uh,
So you're not surprised?
no, I wasn't surprised. Now, one,
Okay.
because for the fact that the lawmaker, he keep hammering it that he
Yes.
wants that guy to release. That's one of their conditions.
Eh.
So as they have started, I think other thing. You see that Sharia something, they are going to dismantle it. That
That
one
one
is
go
for sure.
worry you.
You
That
go
one go
worry, but
worry you. Say, no, that's not a look like say it did our constitution. Our constitution give us the right. So
mm,
America don't get the right to tell us we could do no go against something within our constitution. America is saying that you're a secular state, and this thing clearly will destroy on a system. So why do you want to keep doing, having a religious law in a secular state? But they are not saying it that way. And say Northerners go vex. So that one go worry Tinubu.
no,
What?
it will worry. Yeah, it will worry. It will worry him, but. Uh, because maybe underground, they don't tell and say, if you don't do this thing, they no will give you, they no will allow you to enter there. So these things now, as who they talk them here, them they will talk them back, tell them say, if you won't go for your second something, make sure this thing will tell you, make you do them. They no will do anything now because if you do them now, they're not people no go fit do anything because people are behind him now, which is the people where they tell them waiting to do now. For the fact they don't do this one, then go do that one. I know it's gonna cost a whole lot of this thing, but if care is not taken because maybe he go do them at the second tenor, where if you do and finish, nobody will fit do anything. That is my own speculation.
The condition is that you get to complete these things before your first tenure self to determine whether you will get second tenure.
Okay,
So
yeah, but for
waiting
me,
to then may
but
not.
if you won't go for the second tenor, I think he might, he may do, he will try
What
to do
if
it.
you won't go? Are you kidding me? Did you just say if you won't go?
If you won't go, yes.
If
If you
you won't
won't
go,
go.
okay. Person way done if spirit and soul don't reach 2031, remain some.
So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that yeah, it's good for them to do it because since our place is a secular state, because some of those things they constituted into our constitution, that's the thing that is causing a whole lot of problem, because some of them when they want to, change something all those northern oligarchy go say no, you don't do it like that because they believe that the country is their own now. So and they believe that whatever thing, like they always tell us that they are the greatest number. For you to win anything, you have to go and see them. So, but let's see how it play. But I hopefully, if Tinubu should do that thing, I think I will respect him. Because most things we are trying to do in Nigeria, it's only criminals that can change all those things, or people who are very corrupt. They can change it so they can write their name in a good books. I mean, that's my own speculation and my own opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, Henry or Dan would make I just take it, but night don't really come. It's almost 1 a.m., so I have to retire. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's always part of the show. So please, my birthday is 1st of January. It's time never change. And I am still going to visit the IDP. I'm already in talks with people in the IDP to see which of the IDPs will be say need that help more in terms of to relocate one family or two, depending on the budget where we get from IDP to rent them a house. Pointers are looking towards Kaduna State because if you know what's going to happen for Kaduna State now, some people they talk say there's some sort of repression of things make it not be like say with the because of this Christian genocide thing. So as much as say like what happened in that report where we say a guy get to go to do for some displaced communities where they know Graham do the report. Perhaps because they don't want it to be obvious that there are communities that people have actually left that are deserted and that there are other occupants of those communities. So we'll look at perhaps Kaduna State, but I will invite a few of these people. Zaria Yusuf maybe joining us sometime. We could decide which of these people will be so we will help. So if you'd like to contribute towards this, please kindly do me a DM on WhatsApp. Anything you give, it's appreciated. And to everyone who has contributed, I can't thank you guys enough. Now God will bless you. Later, I will compile a special thank you to all of you and with you to appreciate you in a big time. Ona do well. Thank you so much. Your support will go a long way to help someone. Thank you so much. If not for anything, if a young child will be say don't the IDP camp all her life, where they born there, where they conceive there, then born the became there, you don't grow there all through in life. Go fit finally live for a 1 or 2 bedroom flat with a family for 2 years to see what in a day like to get a home. It would mean a lot to me to give them something that looks like a life. I'd really appreciate that, and that's why I'm doing it. Apart from other personal effects, who also won't buy for all IDPs because some of them are in need of basic. You don't want to know some things. There are some things that you don't want to know because it's actually very embarrassing to even say that as a woman. Some people don't even have as much as pads to use for their menstrual cycle. It is that hard, that bad. Some people can't afford as much as pads. So buying these things in bulk and all that and sharing to the IDPs will mean a lot. Apart from medications will be necessary things will be said they need. But buying personal effects like soap to use bath, toothbrushes, toothpaste, pads, very importantly. Some other things like undies even can help. And then wears for children. So if we can help with some of these personal effects, it would mean a whole lot to me, and that's why I am doing this. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's contributed to this course. Make we not stop, make we continue. It's 1st January, so the time still there. So time still there for you to be part of the contribution. Kindly do me a message on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp number, if you like to be part of this. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone. God bless you, replenish your pockets and abundance. And thank you for always joining me here. And you know what? Protect your mental health. So as you're chopping your Christmas, remember that person around you when of chop Christmas. So remember that person. Anything where you see kill, if you in Nigeria, make a manager. See chicken kill, be good. Go to a cow, you kill. If not fish, you kill. On a pomo, you kill self. Eat it with joy and be merry and remember your neighbor. I love you guys. Protect your mental health very importantly. I'll see you tomorrow evening. And then I'll see you on Christmas Day with Dr. Kaj because it's on Thursday. And yes, he's still going to join me even though it's Christmas Day. I love you. Good night and God bless you.